Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you in part by McDonald Muffler, the Muffler Mafia based out of Mobile, Alabama. They're a family-owned and operated muffler shop, specializing in converter shocks and so much more. You need to give those guys a call at 251-661-1043. That is McDonald Muffler, the Muffler Mafia in Mobile, Alabama. I'm your host, Thomas Faddish, alongside two of the same short track guys in the studio as always. Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman and 2021 sportsman champion, and Ted Baber, the Ted Baber Video Productions. What's up, guys?
Greetings.
Good evening, everybody. Let's get this done.
Right on. Again, every week, as we always do here in our studio, Short Track Guys podcast style. Well, we've got a big weekend that had passed us here in our backyard at Five Flag Speedway and at Mobile, and we've got some news coming up again in the other side of our backyard. At Southern Raceway, they've got a big event coming up this weekend we want to give a shout out to. The Oxford 250 results, the big super late model. There was a prelude to that on Thursday night. We're going to get to a little bit of what we know about what happened Thursday night in the Twin 75s, the Salute to 75 up there at I-44 in Lebanon. Jim Sauter Classic 200, $15,000 to win at the Dells Raceway Park with the likes of Luke Penhouse, Ty Majeski, and John DeAngelis Jr., and a host of others. And coming up at the end, we have the story in Bleich Roofing, Crown Vic Spotlight Driver of the Week, which we'll bring up just in a little bit. So let's get back to this past weekend with the Alan Turner Pro Late models on Friday night here at Five Flag Speedway. And man, woo, what a show.
Oh, was it ever. I tell you what, man, they put on a clinic. Every time they had a restart, boy, it was rough. And there's several teams went home with really tore up equipment from that one.
Some guy named Hunter really got stuffed in the wall there late in running.
Oh, Hunter Robbins got turned by a young kid. And we talk about youth versus experience. Carson Brown driving for Anthony Campy Racing, and I'm sure he paid a nice big chunk of change to drive that car, and he flat wrecked Hunter Robbins. If mine would have ran and drove, I probably would have gotten in trouble because that was ridiculous.
That one wasn't going anywhere. It was broke.
But nobody had anything for Jackson Boone in that race.
Go ahead, Ted. Franklin, Tennessee. Let's do the best. Jackson Boone.
Good one. That kid put on a show. I mean, once he got out front, he was gone.
Yes.
I mean,
different zip code.
Every restart, somebody'd get close to him, but boy, once he got rolling, he was out of there. So, congratulations to him and his team because we've talked about them before, and he was due one, and he got it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently he's been knocking on the door left and right and winning here and there, and he just came to show it this past weekend.
Yeah. Oh, he pulled out the paddle and went to whooping. I promise you, everybody was got a sore rear end after that one.
Yeah. Jackson Boone, Carson Brown, Dylan Petro, Brent Cruz, which is a big name too. There finishes fourth, and John Bolin there from Jasper, Alabama, finishes round out the top five. Augie Grill didn't have such a good night, finishing seventh from Hayden, Alabama. Now Augie is one of our staple drivers here in our studio, and he came away with a seventh place finish. But anytime Augie gets behind the wheel, whether it be a go-kart or if he's pushing a garbage can, doesn't matter. He's going to be one to win.
Well, the one thing about Augie is he went all the way to the back and drove back up there.
Yes,
so, I mean, he had a good car, just he kept getting shuffled out on restarts.
He kind of used it up a little bit, but he managed to come back and have a good finish.
Yeah, the Rackley War cars, both of them got destroyed in the same wreck. Both of them, I think, got into each other and crashed each other. I had teammates, man, don't do that stuff. But
no.
They tore both those cars to pieces.
Yeah, got to give a shout out to Gavin Graham in ninth place finish, but that's not where he finished in Mobile. He had a much better night in Mobile winning that one, so that was outstanding.
Yeah, but that Mobile race, there was a bunch of them started, and I think 5 of them finished.
Gosh,
I have never. Well, we'll get to that. Let's finish Pensacola.
Right.
But we ran. I helped Ben Cranford and this young kid named Cody. I can't think of his last name right now. The 2-car. His first time ever in a pure stock, ends up running second. And I really think he won it because I believe Robert Barber was a lap down. But there and again, we have somebody in the tower that wasn't paying attention because he let people jump restarts in certain other cars he didn't. So, but a good pure stock race. And then Outlaw Stock's another heartbreaker for the 54 car, Connor Sutton.
God, he has such horrible luck.
Oh, he had that race won and in hand in a late race caution, 2 dingleberries at the back of the field that are never going to win a race, wrecked each other, and he wound up finishing in the top 3. But man, he had a hot rod early on. I really, it's a heartbreaker for him. I hate that.
Yeah. Just have it happen over and over. Turning out to be the bridesmaid, never the bride.
And then Adam Salter won the Crown Stock race.
Yes.
In little controversy with one of our Crown Stock drivers have been on here, Tyler Young.
Yep. Yeah.
Led the majority of the race, got turned late in the show, and he ran up there and turned Adam on the cool-off lap, which is a no-no.
Yep.
And from what I understand, he's suspended for one race. I hate that for him, but dude, listen, if you listen to us, Tyler, understand I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. You got to stop it because it's just going to get worse. And one of these times you're going to end up unintentionally hurting somebody or yourself. So take a deep breath sometimes.
It does help.
Who won the truck race Friday night?
Let's go up here and
trying to figure that one out. I watched the pro truck. Who won the?
Grant Thompson won it.
Oh, that's right.
Going away.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he imagine that he set a track record.
Oh yeah.
and then did the same thing in Mobile. In our division in Mobile, the top 6 broke the track record in Sportsman. Yeah, we were second off the pace.
Sounds a little sketchy.
Yeah, we were terrible in practice. We put 2 right sides on and went out for the feature. We were running respectable, and I run over something that cut the right front tire right in the fence I went. So got work to do to fix it for next week at Five Flags. But man, that was terrible. We come off the corner and I felt it go, and you're just along for the ride at that point.
I think Trace Capers finished second. I believe he's also second in points in Pro Trucks at Five Flags. And
he is.
I know he was trying.
He won at Five Flags, too, a couple races ago. That kid's coming on strong.
Well,
and that truck series ain't no joke.
Nope. Cody McCauley, Dustin Smith, and Brandon Burks round out the top 5. So, yeah.
It was good to see Brandon Burks get a top 5.
Yes.
That young man does a heck of a job, man. He's pretty sporty, so we were happy to see that. And then, like I said, went over to Mobile Saturday night, and the Pro Late Model, well, first off, the Modifieds of Mayhem lived up to their name.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I mean, like the third lap, they all went sailing. Okie was in it. Augie was in it. I think 5 Modifieds finished that race, and they were just destroyed.
Well,
They blew several motors in practice. My buddy Jason Welch blew up his Pro Late Model. I hated that for him and his team. They worked so hard, and then the motor let go. But the late models were the same way. I think 5 finished.
Wow.
It was just a wreck fest. I mean, it seems like they get rolling. And that Carson Brown kid was involved again. He knocked Dustin Smith out of the way and ended up trying to wreck a couple other ones, but he didn't quite get the win, thank goodness.
Well, he'll have a lot of people will have a target on his back when he comes back down here.
Yeah, it was pure and Sportsman. It was James Patrick ended up winning it. Congratulations to him. That's 2 in a row at Mobile, 2 big money races, and then Robert Loper won the pure stock race. Now, the Crown Stock was Adam Salter again, but boy, he had some competition from Hunter Lambert. Hunter got into him, and they both spun out again. Both had to go to the back, and Hunter just had used his stuff up. I think Hunter wound up finishing second or third. Couldn't quite get back to him. So, I mean, it was some good racing over there in Mobile. Late night because of all the wrecks. Man, Eddie McDonald did a hell of a job. Their crew is the only complaint that I can say, and this is just observation, and he said it, so I can say this. He's got to get a better wrecker crew and a safety crew, because those guys were putting around, taking forever to get somewhere. They're taking forever to drag cars up. Guys, you've got to hook them and hustle.
Hell, got to get them off the track.
Yeah, because the grandstand was slam full. The pits were full of cars. Everybody was there. It was great. But people aren't going to come back if they got to sit in the grandstands till 1 o'clock in the morning to finish the races.
In the heat, which it was.
Oh, it was miserable. Yeah. And I got stuck down in the infield, and my car looks like it's been at a dirt track, but it is what it is. Had that flat, and I thought maybe I could change and get back out. Nope, couldn't get back to my trailer and change the tire, so we just loaded up and went home. But good night for Mobile. I really, really, really hope that place keeps going and growing, because it's looking good.
Yeah. He's done really well so far. You kind of hate to see the season end so soon, but
well, he only was going to run 3 or 4 races.
Right.
He already said that, but he's getting the grandstands in order. I mean, the pit concession. The food is decent. It's not overcooked or undercooked. It's also available. They don't run out. So you're not going hungry if you walk over and, we got some bag of M&Ms for you. Gee, thanks,
Wow.
But, I mean, and it was slammed full of people. All I got to say is I wish the best for Eddie. And, next year he keeps paying the way he's paying. We're just going to have to race over there, son.
Right.
You can't spend the kind of money you spend on tires and race for $500, and he's paying at least $1,000 to win on every single race we've had so far. So,
like you were talking about, when you have a big money race, it'd be nice to have decent money at the top and kind of spread it out.
I think so too. The winner should, if $2,500 to win, make it $1,500 to win, because the driver spends $700 to win tires, and then he'll make about $500 by the time it's said and done, and then pay down. I mean, give the last place guy $250, or have a bonus for the last place guy. I mean, I've had ideas for promoters for years, and as far as a guy that has trouble sometimes and we don't finish, or you tow all the way over, give somebody tow money.
Right.
Throw them a few dollars. Pull it out of your pocket here, But, I mean, they've done a great job. I wish them all the best in the world. The drag strip was running, and the sad part about it is the drag strip was over, loaded up, and dark before we left. I crawled into bed at 4:30 in the morning, Sunday morning, so it was a long night.
I can identify with long nights, having been at Auburndale.
Oh, yeah.
The weekend.
We were watching some of that Crown Stock race down there. Oh, my goodness. What a wreck fest.
50 Crown Stock showed up down there, and they qualified everybody. It was nuts. 5.5 hours. It took a while in the heat.
I bet. It was hot. Oh, it was definitely hot. But, hey, we live in Florida, and while we're thinking about Florida, thoughts and prayers those people affected by this hurricane. Yes. Florida and Georgia and South Carolina may affect the Southern 500. We don't know yet, but prayers to those people that hurricane, man. We didn't want it up here, and we just didn't want to wish it on y'all down there either. And I hope that everybody gets through and gets everything squared away.
Yes, hope for the best for them.
Anyway, what else we got, Thomas?
Yeah, just talking about spreading the money around, not exceedingly so. And the heat, Ted's trip down to Auburndale with that SRL Sportsman race. Ricky Brooks, I think, no?
Yes.
Ricky Brooks?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did that trip go?
It was hot. And it, like I said, it just took a very long time. Auburndale is a bull ring. I got to tell you, it is a very small track. Unfortunately, working on the video crew, you don't have a whole lot of time to watch the races or do anything around the track because you're trying to avoid frying in that heat. But it was a good race. The track is just so small, and they actually have a figure eight in the middle of it too, which is kind of cool. And that's where they staged the cars after they were qualified. And like I said, I just didn't get too much time to watch much of the race, and I would really have to go back and look at some of the results myself to see what took place, because we were just busy getting things taken care of, and it was kind of a nightmare. Put it like that.
Well, I'm planning on the game plan me is go back and run the Red Eye 50/50 down in New Smyrna again in January. Hopefully with the new car we're putting together. I just made a big list this weekend of parts I'm going to need to get that car together, because they're changing. From what I understand, we're going to outboard shocks and weight jacks next year, which I wish we wouldn't, but they're trying to incorporate guys from Montgomery to run with Sportsman, so we'll see what happens.
Speaking of Sportsman, just for a brief moment here, let's get back to the SRL Sportsman Auburndale and give you the top 5. Anyways, Brandon Morris, Dylan Bigley, who also ran in the Crown Stock race. That was kind of fun to watch. Steve Gill, who didn't have the best qualifying effort, but he managed to eke out a top 3 podium finish. Daniel Webster and Chad Rutherford, and local information. Brooke Storr was actually on the pole there for a little while and got out-qualified. Somebody, I believe, ran a 13-second lap there. That's what I'm talking about, a bull ring. That's a very small track. They were getting around there quick.
Speaking of the SRL series, Jason Vale normally runs that, but he was in Mobile and his pro late model finished top 3. He finished second. So that's congratulations to him in one of his first pro late model shows, running in the top 3.
Wow. That's all right.
Surviving, basically. Yeah. Didn't he got in a couple little scrapes, but he drove her into a top 2, so that's pretty good for him.
And the fun part, they did have an LCQ for the Crown Vics. This was a guy who started 25th, who features a black flag flying out of the back of his car. He managed to win the race, so he's making a statement of some kind, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah, we've taken a look at some of the videos back then with all those Crown Vics, and there was like the whole track was lined up 2 by 2.
Well, it pretty much was, but that was half of the ones went down there. So it was. I was a little concerned when I first heard 40 lap Crown Vic. I'm like, oh Lord, that's going to be a nightmare, and it kind of was. But I think not only did they only start half of them, I think they only finished half of them before it's all over with. It was some of them, they were just having difficulties staying running, and some of them were, just obviously there's a whole lot of bumping and grinding. And when you have somebody that has a black flag, that would be Dalton Degroff was the guy who won the Crown Stock race. Dylan Bigley managed to finish second in that one. So, he jumped out of one car into another and just kept on going. John Worthington, Tom Panzarella, and Michael Bauer were the top 5 in the Crown Vic. So interesting to watch. Took a while.
As much as we've talked about those Crown Vics, I mean, it's everywhere. Now, yes. Auburndale being a small bullring track down there in Winter Haven, you say it was a 5.5 hour drive down there?
It was more like 7.
7.
Yeah.
In the heat, 107 index and no AC,
right.
Loading the equipment upstairs, downstairs, all over. I can imagine it being a long trip, and you left here at the racetrack at 11 or 12 o'clock?
I left 5 Flags, 11 o'clock, got about 3.5 hours sleep, maybe 4 at best. Jumped in the car. I was requested to be there at 2 o'clock their time, which is Eastern. I pulled up at 1:55. Yep. So I was not exactly letting the grass go under my backside on the way down.
Oh, it's the life of video production.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Short track style. You got to love it.
That's it.
We have a celebrity in the house. He's traveling, getting paid to do it. Gotta love it. So we look forward to hearing more of that if that happens. I believe they're
going back in September.
Pit Road
TV, Tony and company, and I think they're going to be back there in September. I'll have to find out.
Awesome. We look forward to that one.
Well, as long as they don't have the 40-lap Crown Vic, so do I.
Well, we've gone Five Flag Speedway. We've gone Mobile International. Then we've traveled down to Winter Haven at Auburndale. We're going to come back up in the other side of our backyard. Just want to give a shout-out to Southern Raceway, 3/8 mile dirt track here in Milton. They've got their 35th birthday with the 604 crate late models this weekend. It's going to be a great show. It's always entertaining out there, our Southern, and they may have 8 classes, but I assure you they will be finished on time.
Yes. That was one of the things that it seemed like it took a long time to get things reorganized once they had a caution in the Crown Vic class. It was one after another. They wound up single file in the cars for the last couple of restarts just to get it done.
Yep. 35th birthday bash, 604 late models, a vintage IMCA, street stocks, pure stocks, stingers, money to win. Sunday, September 3rd, general admission is $15. The gates open at 4, racing starts at 7. If you want to be there and watch some entertaining stuff on the dirt, going left in a circle, maybe slideways, what they say. Southern Raceway, their 35th birthday bash. Boy, that's going to be a good deal. So get off your duff and get to the racetrack, get you a hot dog and a Coke Zero or something else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
An adult beverage.
An adult beverage and have some fun at the racetrack. So, racing all around. And we're going to go next to...
How about that place up there in Dells?
Yeah.
Dells Raceway.
The Dells Raceway. Yeah, the Jim Sauter Classic. Jim Sauter and all the Sauters are real classic drivers anyway. And they've got a Jim Sauter Classic 200 up at Dells. Luke Penhouse, John DeAngelis Jr., Paulie, all Smiles Schaefer, yes. Derek Krause, Gabe Summers, just to mention a few. Justin Mondyke, obviously, he's going to be there too. James Story, Riley Stengham, Ryan Farrell, Ty Majeski. We call him the Tyminator.
The Cheetahnator.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a second. That 98 truck, the Craftsman Truck Series. Yeah, we had a little announcement here that we read just a little bit ago about the 98 and that team.
Yeah, but Joe Shear is also his late model crew chief.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the 95 Harley Jankowski. Now, we talked about him just a few episodes ago about some little incident that he had, and he will be there presenting himself at the Jim Sauter Classic at the Dells. By the way, we're up there in the Midwest Tour. Do want to give a congratulatory announcement to Alex Prunty with your feature win. It's been a long time coming. I know you've been knocking on the door, and it's good to see your pictures and holding that checkered flag. So the Prunties go back and got some lineage and winning late model races all over the country. And congratulations, Alex, and look for many more coming.
They've been here a bunch, too.
Oh, yeah. They've come down here a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then the big one that we've all been waiting for was on tap last week when we were recording. We've got results and a little bit of a story that happened before that. We don't know too much about it with the Bubba Pollard stable. Mm-hmm. That was the Twin 75s on Thursday at I-44 in Lebanon. Did not make the second race. There was some controversy about a tire with Ricky Brooks getting on the track and allowing another competitor to continue. Bubba didn't agree with it.
He objected.
Yeah, he said some things in his own mind, I'm sure, and put the car on the trailer.
I'm sure they came out of his mouth, too, because I know Bubba, and he took his ball and went home. Said, I'm done playing.
Yep. So he comes home and regroups and got flown back up to Oxford, Maine with the Max Cookson stable in a distance chassis and tried for the Oxford 250, which was one of the big ones that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, but that's back-to-back for old Cole Butcher.
Yeah, Cole
2 in a row.
Took it home. 1.3 seconds ahead of Joey Doron. And then we have DJ Shaw, Johnny Clark, Gabe Brown, and Max Cookson comes in 6th. Joey Pastore, Trevor Sanborn, and our man Derek Griffith come in 9th. Top 10 was Austin Terrace, Ryan Kuhn, Garrett Hall, Mike Hopkins, Jimmy Renfrew, Dave Farrington, Kyle D'Souza, Jeff Taylor, Brandon Barker. I'm pretty confident that name's right. Consensus pretty close to mine. Ben Rowe, Eddie McDonald, Andy Shaw, TJ Brackett, Travis Benjamin, Garrett Lamb, Curtis Gary, Nick Cusack, Kate Ray, Mike Rowe, Michael Scorzelli, Corey Bubar, Austin Terrio. Hey, I got that one right for once. And then our man, Bubba, he had some difficulty. He was 42 laps down before us all over, coming home in 32nd. Dylan Moltz, Travis Bazell, Ryan Robbins, Jimmy Hebert, Scott Moore, Dennis Spencer, Colby Benjamin, Steve Chacon, and Ben Ashline. Brown, that was a complete field, all 41 cars that have been up there.
41, and they had 68, nearly 70 of them on the ground, so they did start 41. That's how many finished.
Yes.
Wow, that's and that's not a big track either. I mean, it's not necessarily a bull ring, so to speak, but it kind of is. Not much bigger than a big bull ring, but yeah, that's a big Oxford 250. You want a big late model race on your resume, Oxford 250's got to be one of them.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, like the Winchester 400, the Snowball Derby.
Yep.
I think, Oxford 250 is probably a crown jewel in the late model cap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You win the Derby at Oxford 250, maybe a Winchester 400.
Yeah. All-American.
All-American 400. Yep. That's one. Yeah, there's quite a few big super late model shows that you can win out at Irwindale.
Anything in Nashville?
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much. Yeah,
yeah, gotta have a guitar.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Bub's got one of those. So
he's got about everything,
pretty much, except for Winchester 400 Snowball Derby. He wants that Tom Dawson Trophy with his name on it. I know he does, and I would love to see him get one. I would probably break the toolbox on my truck, jumping up and down, yelling because we rocked the grandstands the night he come from 17th. When he got to 5th, we're like, oh, he get a top 5, and then he got to 3rd, and we're like, dang, that's a pretty good podium. And then he starts chasing leader down past leader. We were rocking the grandstands. We were all Bubba Pollard fans.
Derek Thorne, he needs a Derek Thorne moment. That's what he needs.
Yeah, he does. Derek Thorne's a great race car driver, and he deserved that Derby win. I mean, Chandler Smith punked him, and that was kind of dirty, but hey, you got to take your shot.
That's it. I mean, Tommy Jessica did the same thing, but, I think of the two, I was down in turn 3 and 4 for both of them, and Ty's was a little bit more of a massage, and Chandler's was more of a booyaka.
Oh, he picked his back tires off the ground, sent him. Yeah. See ya.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Cole Butcher, one of 5 Canadians to win the Oxford 250, and I'm going to step on a limb and say he's the only Canadian winning back-to-back, so I'm pretty confident of saying that. I know he's one of 5 Canadians to win the Oxford 250.
Yeah.
But I think he's the only Canadian win back-to-back.
Maybe. So, I don't know. You'd have to look at the history of that race, and I'm not sure. But
there's only 4 more that could have done it.
Yeah.
So I will check.
Right. Yep. But hey, I'm going to tell you something. That's a kid. He comes there and he runs well, too.
Yep.
Qualifies well and usually runs decent. So, I mean, the kid's got a future.
Well, we'll have to watch him.
Well,
Amen to that.
if any of our listeners have been focusing on or paying attention to Short Track Guys podcast here in our studio, we started a segment. This is week number 9. The story in Bleich Roofing Crown Vic Spotlight Driver of the Week. We do have a Spotlight Driver of the Week this week, and he is,
by golly, this guy over here.
Yeah, it's we got Jeremy Tassin. I've known Jeremy since he was just a kid. I raced with his, I don't want to call him his stepdad because Michael Austin was a real dad to him his entire life. That kid, man, he had to put up with a lot because Mike passed away. But, you got to be proud of Jeremy Tassin. He's got 2 daughters. He's raising, works out of town all the time, and he just started in the Crown Vic division. Recently bought a car and then bought another one, ran this last race. But Jeremy, he started racing back with us in 2006 in the sportsman division, ran number 13. Yeah. And raced with his dad. And then they bought a super stock in 2012, and he started racing with his dad, which was really cool to see him race with his father. They had some significant battles. Then super stock went away. So he started racing dirt, and then in a street stock, and then he started running go-karts with his brother and his dad. They had their own little race team.
Oh, wow.
And, I mean, him and his dad had epic battles in go-karts, so that was pretty neat. I remember that a lot. And then, 2020, he drove some races, and then 2021, he drove for Billy Hoover that night, and he remembers this night like it was nothing. I passed him with 3 laps to go and won the race. He told me, he said, when he looked in the mirror on that restart and saw it was me, he said, I knew I was in trouble. He said, Jim has just got so much more experience, but he does a great job. And he's one of those people like, remember back when Matt Benedetto was leading Bristol and Denny Hamlin passed him, and Denny Hamlin didn't want to.
No.
But you have to. That was the same situation I was in. I wanted to win a race. I didn't want to be track champion and not win a race. I had to go. If I had already won a race that year, I probably would have pushed him to the win because if anybody deserves a win, it's him. But now he's in the crown stock class, and he's starting out, and he's going to be one of the front runners. You watch what I tell you, because he run second in his heat race for a while. He said the motor laid down a little bit. He bought the car from I can't think of his name right now. The 27 car, Tommy Lowry. Yeah. He bought that car, and so it's going to be interesting with him in the crown stock class. Between him, Hunter Lambert, Mr. Bleich, Ryan Bleich, and all those guys in that class, minus Tyler Young for one race.
Yeah, well,
but, and Adam Salter coming down running in it. I'm telling you, that's going to be a great class, still is. And Jeremy Tassin, thank you for racing and doing what you do for our sport and sticking with it, because he quit for a few years. Now he's back. Yeah. He can't stay away from it. It's a drug that you'll never get out of your system. It's worse than crack. It's worse than heroin. It's worse than any drug that you could ever put in your body, because you'll spend more money on a race car than you will on drugs. I promise you, kids.
And it won't affect your health quite as much.
No, it won't affect your health as much. Well, broke bones and soreness, because my back's still a little sore from smacking the wall Saturday night in Mobile. But
it didn't move, did it?
No, it doesn't. I've tried so many times to get out of the way, wall, but it won't move.
Derek Long can testify to that too, because he ate it up when the bomber car one night. It put him in a world of hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt that night. That's when he hurt his back. Yeah. But congratulations, Jeremy. We look forward to seeing you on the racetrack, and thank you to Story and Bleich Roofing for sponsoring that particular section of our podcast. Thank you for doing my roof. If you ever need a roof done, see those gentlemen. They'll do you right. And they got several of the Crown Vics they're selling. If you want to move to the Crown Vic class, get with them and see if they'll help you, because they'll help you get a car together.
I know we've had a lot of discussion about having them at the Derby, but it's a logistical nightmare to try to get that much stuff.
The only time I could see them doing is on Saturday, and they would lose all the people driving down the infield on Saturday. Yeah. So I can kind of see it, but I think they're going to run them the night of the 2 weeks prior. Yeah, the preview. I think they're going to get to race then, which is not in front of the big crowd, and I don't agree with that. No. I think they should be in front of the big crowd, but run them on Wednesday night, like they did the Pure Stocks. Bring them in, run them Wednesday night. As soon as run them early, run them 7 o'clock, get them in, get them out, get us in there parked. But it's a logistical nightmare.
It is.
I do not envy Tim Bryant, not whatsoever, not in the slightest. I do not envy him for that. So
It's a nightmarish ballet trying to get all that stuff taken care of.
yep, and those whiny, you know how those damn prima donna late model drivers on. Yeah, well, I'm gonna park, but I gotta get between my trailer and then. It's like, hey, if you don't like it, bye bye. But no, they won't do that to them. They'll do that to us. But anyway, I'm not going to fuss about that. Snowball Derby is a snowball derby. It's been that way ever since I've been racing it. So, why cry about it? Just get either as old God rest his soul, Mr. Penton told me one time, either Wayne Penton, he said, you either race or go home.
Right.
So I'm coming to race. So, but yeah, congratulations everybody this past weekend. Great racing, bunch of tore up cars, but some good competition, a good show, good crowd mobile, okay crowd in Pensacola. I wish people would come more to watch the races out there.
We have to send out one more congratulations to a local boy, Grant.
Oh, yeah. A former guest on the Short Track Guys podcast, Grant Enfinger. 3 wins this season for a team that's going out of business. And according to someone I heard, they knew last year they were going out of business. They just didn't announce it.
Wow.
So here this man is winning races, and he's got a shot, and he's carrying a bunch of points into the championship round. He makes the next round of the championship by winning that race. So go Grant, get us a championship, man. We'll have you back on as the truck champion. That would be like super awesome.
Yeah, that would be really, really good.
That would be.
Really awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, it's not really going to be a quiet weekend. Everybody's going to go to Southern, watch that 35th birthday bash with the 604 crates. Don't wear a white T-shirt, I can tell you that.
No.
Don't sit and turn one down by the fence and wear
Turn
a white
4
T-shirt. I can tell you from experience, it doesn't work out very well.
No. Don't sit up high as you can.
Yes.
You don't catch a dirt clod in your beer.
And we'll go over the Jim Slaughter Classic results next week for that $15,000 check. Story and Bleich Roofing, thank you very much for the Crown Vic Spotlight Driver of the Week, Jeremy Tassin. We look forward to continuing that segment every week. There are big races coming up, but there are big races this weekend. So,
one other thing. I heard a rumor going around that Rich Bickle is going to make a return to super late models. What? It's something that I heard from a decently reliable source. Whoa. That he wants to get back in a race car.
I guess he got bored.
Probably. Yeah, sitting around watching everybody else have fun. He goes, I can still afford to do this. Why am I not in a race car?
We will have to wait and see.
I hope so. He's one of my favorite short track drivers.
Okay. I don't want to get back into the racing as a drug that you can't ever get rid of, but hey, maybe he comes back and it is something that's in his system.
It's you when your season's over, you need to fix. You know what I mean? You got to put the little band on you. Come on, man. It's not in my veins right now. You work on a car all winter, and then it's funny to me because the snowball derby's over. It's stressful. Last week after the Derby, I just want to put that car up. I don't want to touch it. Don't want to mess with it. Then about 2 weeks after the Derby, you walk out there and you're like, okay, I can start doing this. I can start doing that. I can play with this. I can play with that. I can do that. I'm going to spend some money here. And then, Christmas bonus rolls around. You get a little extra money. You buy race car parts. And then come by February, you're like, time to go. Let's go.
You're waiting for March.
That's right. Let's go racing.
Story and Bleich Roofing, Crown Vic segment. Thank you. McDonald Muffler, thank you so much for your support. Our listeners, thank you. We will get back to you guys with some more results.
Give us a 5-star review wherever you listen. If it's iTunes, leave us a comment, good, bad, or otherwise. Give us 5 stars. Help us move up in the rankings. Help us become the best short track podcast in America, because that's what we want to do for you guys. We want y'all to be happy, and thanks to everybody who listens, man. We appreciate every one of you.
Yep, the T-shirts are available. Check us out on the Facebook page. Get in touch with us, and we will hook you up. And our caps are coming in probably in a week, 10 days. So we'll have a matching Short Track Guys podcast outfit for every racetrack around.
That's it. I love mine. I'm Thomas and I are wearing ours. Of course, Ted didn't wear his today.
I didn't want to stick it up.
You can wear it over here after you can change after work.
I did.
Anyway, thank you, and buy our stuff and support us because we're here for you guys. We love doing this for ourselves, but we also love doing it for the fans.
Right.
And our infamous sign off too.
Oh, yes.
Oh, 1,
2, 3.
let's go, Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Be strong, America.
Thanks for listening.